Hello, great evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in on the listing room tonight. It's such a beautiful day outside here in Jersey. We've got some amazing talent here to talk a little bit about the listing experience. I'm going to introduce our first speaker, and then I will go after our first speaker. But I just wanted to welcome everyone to the room. Thank you so much for joining in and listening on the call. Some people might listen to the recording. My name is Nakai Lewis, for those who do not know me in the room, founder and president at Work. Tonight, we are hosting what we call a listing room session, which we're here to just give tools and some resources to agents and lenders alike so that we can all have an amazing listing experience. So, let's get started because I know time is valuable. We're only going to be here for an hour. First, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. His name is Derek and Cyrus from Argenix, and he's going to be speaking all about the visual strategy when it comes to listings. So, Derek, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining in on this call and sharing your talent and experience with us. And we look forward to learning from you today. And I'll let
Awesome.
you.
Thanks, Nakai. Appreciate it. I'm gonna share my screen. Is that okay?
You're good to go.
Okay. And, all right. Now can everyone can you see that, Nakai?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Okay. Um, all right, yeah. So good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you for having me today. I'm Derek Cyrus, founder of Airgenics, and I specialize in real estate media, to include aerial photography, video, and visual marketing for real estate and commercial properties. Today, I want to talk about something that has a major impact on how listings are perceived online, and that is the art of the listing through video, drone, and visual strategy. Um, if anyone has any questions, if you could keep them to the end of the presentation, that would be great. Thanks. Um, so the way buyers shop for homes has changed. Most people are not seeing a property in person first. They're seeing it online first. So that means the first showing is no longer the in-person showing. The first showing is actually the listing itself. So if the visuals don't catch attention quickly, people tend to move on. And this is the reality of today's market. And that reality is the 3 second reality. People make very fast decisions online. Within just a few seconds, they're already deciding whether a property feels interesting, is worth clicking on, or worth remembering. So when the listing blends in visually, it loses momentum before the buyer even reads the details. Um, a lot of listings, they still rely on the basics only. And the problem is they may have photos, but they don't always tell a story. So that they don't always show that or show the layout clearly, and they don't always help buyers understand the location or lifestyle. So even when property is solid, the presentation may not be doing it justice. Now, the agents who stand out understand that they're not just listing homes; they're marketing experiences. So they know that presentation affects perception. And when the listing looks more polished, more intentional, and more premium, that reflects well on the property and on the agent. So I like to simplify listing visuals into three questions. First, what does this home feel like? Second, where is it located in context? And third, why is it worth seeing in person? When your visuals answer those three questions well, the listing becomes more effective. So this is where the visual stack comes in. Photography captures the details, video tells the story, and drone imagery provides the context. So each one plays a different role. So when all three work together, the listing becomes much stronger than when you rely on photography alone. Photography is still the foundation. Strong photos create a clean, professional first impression. They show finishes, lighting, layout, and condition, and they help the property feel polished and market ready. But photos work best when they're part of a bigger visual strategy. So video helps bring the listing to life. It gives people a better sense of flow, movement, and how spaces connect. More importantly, video creates emotion. It helps buyers imagine themselves in the space, and that emotional connection can make a listing feel much more memorable. Now, this is where drone imagery adds major value. Using a drone to capture footage of your listing is not just about getting a cool aerial shot, it shows the full setting. So it shows how the property sits on the lot, it shows the neighborhood, the surrounding features, nearby roads, access points, and overall context. So that gives buyers more confidence because they're seeing the bigger picture. Now, drones tend to be especially effective for certain types of listings, luxury homes, properties with land, new construction, homes near water, parks, or other location-based features, and listings where neighborhood context really matters. So, in those situations, aerial visuals can help communicate value much faster. Now, when buyers look at a listing, they're not just asking, what does the kitchen look like? They're also wondering what's around the property. So, what does the neighborhood feel like? How close is it to things that matter? How does the home sit on the lot? Aerial and video help answer those questions visually instead of leaving buyers to guess. Now, one important point here is that the video does not need to be overly complicated. It doesn't need to feel like a movie trailer. A clean 60 to 90-second video with strong composition, smooth movement, and the right highlights can do a great job. Simple, intentional, and well executed usually works better than overdone. So the agents who consistently present listings well tend to think differently. They don't see media as an afterthought. They see it as part of how they position the property. So they think about how the buyer will experience the listing online, and they understand that stronger visuals can create stronger interest. And that leads to the business side of this. Better visuals can lead to more attention. More attention can lead to more clicks and more interest and more showings. And better presentation can also strengthen the agent's own brand in the marketplace. So this is not the only. It's not only about marketing the listing. It's also about marketing your professionalism. So if I had to make this practical, I suggest three things for your next listing. First, add aerial visuals when the property benefits from context. Second, use a short video walkthrough to show flow and create emotion. And third, review the listing like a buyer. Ask yourself, if I saw this online, would it make me stop scrolling? And this is where the difference becomes very clear. Sometimes the property itself has not changed at all. What changed is the way it was presented, and that can completely change how buyers respond. So that's the difference between simply being visible online and actually being memorable. So if there's one main takeaway from today, it's this. visual strategy is not just a nice extra anymore. It's a competitive advantage. So when listings are presented well, they stand out more, they feel stronger, and create more confidence with buyers. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, whether it's about drone strategy, listing videos, or how to decide which properties benefit most from upgraded visual marketing. Does anybody have any questions? No?
I'll
Okay.
throw one out at you, which is
Okay.
just what do you do when you meet objections, or how do you handle objections from sellers, or what are the objections? I've not used the drone footage,
Sure.
so I would love to have a little bit more of a perspective for communication purposes.
Now, when you say objections from the buyers
Not from
from the
buyers,
sellers,
from
uh,
sellers.
okay.
I've experienced a couple of sellers myself and my real
Hmm.
estate partner
Sure.
where they were reluctant to exposure and marketing. And,
Mm,
it was very shocking for us, but it's what we dealt with. And this is something that home called for.
that's a good question. I mean, if it's in terms of the actual, I guess it depends on what it is about the marketing that they're a little nervous about. Um, do you like if it's just marketing in terms of like the photos, or is it the aerial that has them a little
Well,
concerned?
the listing is over.
Hmm.
It's just, moving into that season, handling objections is always something. And, do you get any objections? Is this something that everyone, when they find out that they can have access to it, they just go, "Oh yeah, let's do it"? Maybe I'm proposing a silly question.
So no, you're not actually. I mean, the only objection, well, the way I guess I would tackle that is maybe, you know, in terms of you want to basically make your property look good as best as possible so that it'll sell. So the way that you're going to do that is through, great visuals, whether it's through photography, ground shots, interior shots, or even aerial shots. I mean, aerial is usually like the icing on the cake. But the better your listing looks, the more probable that it's going to probably sell a lot faster. So if I'm a seller and I have, concerns about that, I would want to know that I'm getting, really good quality video and photos. So I guess the way I would combat that objection is, let's make your listing look as best as possible. And the way that we're going to do that is create and capture great video footage and photos that people will want to look at and attract more buyers, potential buyers for you so we could sell your property.
Okay, I appreciate that. Those
Yeah, that,
I
that
can
that's
work
an
with that.
interesting question because
It was
normally
very
questions I
interesting.
nor normally questions that I'll get that I have to answer are like, can you fly anywhere? Like stuff like that. How much do maybe some pricing questions, but I never was asked that question, but that's a good one. I like that.
We were we were stumped. And it was every single thing we threw at them, they rejected. Stacy
Wow.
says she has a perspective. I'd love to hear from you, Stacy. Is that okay, Nikai?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name is Stacey Wilkins. So I'm a real estate broker here in New Jersey. I'm also licensed in New York. So, to the point of your question, when you get sellers like that, I think really asking questions about what it is specifically they're objecting to, right? I think once we drill down what they're specifically is it invasion of privacy? Is it this and that? And then you also would want to present whatever other listings that you have, right? For my listing presentations, I always bring a bifold. I bring several bifolds of properties I've sold, what that looks like, and also letting them know that if they're not doing what their competitors are doing, they're actually helping their competitors sell their home.
That was awesome. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree.
thanks.
Any other questions? Sorry, you might hear my daughter in the background.
I do have a question.
Yes.
What's your time frame from when an agent like hires you to come out and do photos, aerials, things like that? What does that look like in terms of like booking to getting the photos and the videos for the listing?
Sure. No, that's a great question. It depends on the scope of the work, but normally, time frame in terms of from start to finish, like if it's just photos, like say you just wanted like interior photos or ground shots done, um, and you know it could include aerial as well. Usually, I can have that turnaround time is usually 24 to 48 hours. If there's some video involved, like if you want like a commercial done or a video of the property, you know, you're probably looking at more anywhere from 48 to 72 hours in terms of turnaround time.
Okay, fantastic. Do you also include floor plans?
I do, yes. So I
Fantastic.
use Cubicasa.
Okay. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
And then I use HD Photo Hub for my deliverables. I know Nakai has, I sent her a link for my pricing structure, and it's done through, you would basically just type in a property address and the square footage, and it'll give you all the different pricing options that you have to choose from.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome. Any other questions?
I've got one more. Who owns the images?
So who owns the images? That's a good question. So that's usually
Mhm.
it's up to the agent and the photographer. You know, it's whatever agreement you decide to make between the two. Usually the photographer, you know, they do own, or we do own the rights to it. But usually we can put in a contract whether, you know, the agent, you know, can also have rights to that work too. That's fine too. But at the end of the day, the photographer does own the immediate footage. But in terms of marketing purposes and all that, the agent can do what they want with that.
Okay.
And it's just an agreement. I mean, it's just something that you want to talk about up front. And you know, I know we're flexible, so we don't have a lot of restrictions. We do just ask that at least we're able to hold on to our footage for content, you know. But the final product is yours. You know, once it's sent to you, it's yours. You can do with it what you want.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. So, dude, how many? I have a question for everyone. So, how many properties, on average, would you say you have in a year that you have to sell?
I would say drop it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
We got 10
yes, we
on
got
average from Stacy. Uh, and Mara said 5 to 6. Mm-hmm.
5 to 6. Okay. I didn't even, I'm sorry. I wasn't looking in the chat. Okay, 5 to 6 properties a year. Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, look, I mean, well, you have my information. If any of you ever need me, need my service, I'm very flexible. So I'm always willing to work with you. And I'm usually quick to respond. So if you don't hear from me, you know, I might be doing a project, but you will hear back from me within a 24-hour period. Most of the time it's much sooner than that, but yeah. And
Perfect.
I'm as you I'm based in South Jersey, Southern New Jersey. So, but I travel. So, um, I'm not sure where everybody is from on this on the chat, but I mean on in the group here. But yeah, I'll go as far as New York. Um, in Philadelphia area and what have you. I'll even travel outside of those areas too.
Do you only do commercial? I mean, this residential real estate, do you do commercial?
I do commercial as well. Yes. So
Okay.
my areas of specialty are real estate, residential and commercial. I also do construction and inspections. So those are my three areas that I focus on. But real estate has been my main focus. But yeah, those are my three primary areas of specialty.
Right. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, again, I want to, I definitely want to thank everyone for listening to my presentation. I appreciate it. And if you're looking for ways to elevate how your listings are presented, I'll be happy to connect. And I appreciate the opportunity to share today. Thanks, Nakai. I appreciate you.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to share my screen now, and we're going to jump right in.
Stop there. Hold on. I'm trying to find my. Can you stop it, Nakai? For some reason, I
Yeah.
can't.
Are you
Okay.
guys able to see my screen now?
I'm trying to see.
Yeah, they can see my screen.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect.
Good. Yep.
Yeah. Right. So, all right, perfect. So, welcome everyone. So, yes, this is what the listing room is about, right? It's about offering you solutions, offering you different things that are going to enhance your listing. This event here is for the tech-ready forward agents who are really trying to take everything to the next level. Derek did a fantastic job in explaining everything dealing from drone. He also offers 2D, 3D rendering, every kind of asset that you would possibly need to really enhance your listing, right? So now the goal is to be able to take that from a beautiful listing that gets attention, right, to a prepared listing that's actually going to get some offers, okay? Because we can have something that looks amazingly beautiful and he can help you paint that picture. But what I'm going to be able to help you do now is then take those beautiful pictures and imagery and everything else and take it to a listing that's actually going to be able to get offers, right? Something that's organized, something that is transparent, and being able to get all kind of offers, right? So when it looks good, it's kind of still leaves a little doubt, right? There's some questions that usually unanswered. What about the condition? What about the records? What about, anything that might be missing? Sometimes buyers, they try to fill those gaps themselves. And that's why a lot of times you may not get as much offers as you would normally on that type of listing, right? So buyers are no longer just looking. They're more about, yes, the first impression, but they're doing deeper scrutiny, right? In order to get that commitment, because it is a buyer's market, right? So we want to make sure that everything is clear, concise, and in a way that makes it very simple for the buyer. So where strong listings kind of break down sometimes is basically, again, making sure that we have the organized property information. We have a clear disclosure. And of course, we know the disclosures here in Jersey, they're a little, wary sometimes, and you don't really get the clear answers to exactly what that property entails. So that's why in having a property that has a system in place that's going to have the listing done in this way, it's going to amplify all the positives of it, right? The inspection kind of amplifies everything that is wrong with the property. But if the owner did take care of the property, we're going to be able to have a lot of that pre-listing insight. So we're not just listing properties anymore. We're actually packaging them, right? We're packaging them with the facts, the contents, and everything that buyers need to evaluate quickly, and also offer, that confidently, right? So whatever they want to offer in terms of price, now you could be able to command that price. So having offer-ready listings, having it structured in a way that feels prepared, documented, and positioned to get offers is the way that we want to be able to be moving forward in 2026. All right. So Quirk is preparing that system for you. It's a modern system behind the listing, organizing the property data, making a clear listing presentation, right? That helps to reduce all the buyer hesitation because we already put all the information and the data up front to make it as clear as possible for the buyer. This helps to have more confident buyers, fewer surprises, and of course, stronger offers. This is the goal, right? When it comes to Quirk, and also for you as the agent to be able to facilitate and have this. So why this matters for agents? Because we want to be able to give you a competitive advantage. We want you to stand out instantly, control the narrative before things get out of hand, build trust faster, and of course, win more deals. Winning more deals is going to actually add into the confidence of the listing and the offers and getting you more also as an agent. So for 2026, we're doing a special per listing for agents on this call, right? So if you're on this call, you'll get an opportunity to utilize the property care system and what we have, right? Being able to have the property care listing set up, the digital organization when it comes to exactly what's going on with the listing. Also, the seller disclosure. So we can assist with the seller disclosure, sit down with the client, get all the details, because all of that information is going to go into the property care record and everything that is dealing with that, right? You're also going to have that seller disclosure directly delivered to you as the agent. You'll also have access to any contractor pricing. So if you have any pre-listing repairs that need to be done, any improvements, that also the seller is going to have access to qualified vetted contractors to make sure and get the listing prepared if we need to do anything, right? You also have access to repair scope support. So if you need guidance on identifying potential repairs that might be needed, what that cost might be, whether if it's for the buyer side or your side, we do have access for that. And you'll also get the printed property care certificate, which will be used at your open house. And if you want additional copies of the report, the hard copy, it'll be $30 for additional. At the end and after the sale, right, the full property care system for the buyers is going to pretty much have everything that we talked about. So they're going to be able to have ongoing record about the maintenance, the repairs, the care, contractor scope, if they need repairs after the fact, right? And any property care assistance, then the buyer at the end will pay $6.99, right? And we will also give them a welcome bag. There's a closing gift that is also optional that you'll also have an opportunity to request that at closing, okay? And I'm just going through this and then I'll look at the questions because I'm in a different screen here. The closing gap after the inspection. So the goal is, so when you get to the point of the transaction where now the inspection's done, right? So now they're reviewing the inspection reports. They're trying to, identify what's going on. You might need repair scopes for seller concessions. You might need certain things, right? We want to make sure that you do have access to those tools and resources to help better with the negotiation. We could kind of handle some of those things prior to, or we can help you after the fact if there's certain items that need to be repaired in order to move forward, to move the deal forward. So who this is for? Quirk is designed for agents to elevate their practice and of course your client, giving you, again, stronger offers, agents who want to prevent deals from falling apart. So we're minimizing as much as we can when it comes to the post-inspection hurdles. Agents who want to stand out in their listing presentations and of course, impress clients with a professional approach and property management. And also agents that are working with really serious buyers and sellers who want value, they want transparency, they want organization, and they want a smooth, informed transaction process, okay? In addition, of course, we have also for the professionals in the room, you refer a homeowner, you will earn $50 per successful referral for introducing the property care record and everything that's dealing with the system. So that is a nice little incentive and a thank you as we're growing. So in addition to that, let's say, so what's the tale of two transactions? And I wanted to put this here and then I'm going to show you, I'm going to look at the chat and I want to show you guys two things, right? Without Quirk, so the buyer submits their offer without uncertainty. I don't know, all I know is what's in the MLS, right? The inspection reveals now to me all of these issues. Now the back and forth happens. So this is when deals become, shaky and stressful. Now with Quirk, right, the buyer already sees what's going on. They already see the organization. They already know kind of what it is, right? So the expectations are a little bit more clear. The inspection process should go a little bit more smoother and predictable because the buyer is already informed prior to and has already seen a record. So they already know it's not a surprise. It's already included. It's already submitted. So that's the difference with Quirk and using transactions without Quirk. Give me 1 second here. This one. All right, perfect. So, and how agents are going to be using this. So I've created basically for agents, for lenders on the call, that you'll be able to go to this link right here, which is quirk.com/client-center. You're going to be able to use this. Is going to be kind of your resource to use during listing presentations. So you'll be able to pretty much go to that page, and I'll show you what that looks like during showing. So you can show them a sample of what you're going to be doing in terms of the documentation, how this affects the listing, how it improves the listing. And alongside with the beautiful photos, you're also going to have the documentation and everything else that goes along with that so that you can get the most funds from, of course, the buyer in terms of the offers, because you already proved and you already presented as much information as you can, right? So, in those instances, that's where you'll be able to do that. Let me just show you what that page looks like, and let me look at the chat here real quick. Okay, just want to make sure there's any calls. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share what this looks like here. Share the whole screen so I can. All right. This is what the Quirk Client Experience Center looks like. So when you go to that link, if you type in your URL, you'll have an opportunity, a pop-up will come up, and that's how you can get started with Quirk. So you just go ahead and put your name, phone number, email, right? And then you'll have this Client Experience Center. Here, we're going to be able to go through the listing appointment script, right? So I put that there for you. For example, how to position a listing. I don't just list homes, I prepare them to be offer ready. Quirk organizes your home, including your maintenance, property details, and key information into one structured system so buyers aren't guessing, they're informed. And why it matters is because buyers today, they want clarity. They don't want to have to, wait for it or hesitate. They want to be able to make effective offers, okay? You can be able to show this to your seller. So there's an actual whole seller experience right here, which is new. I added this page, right? So you can go right into here for your seller on your iPad and show them, okay, how you're going to prepare the home to get stronger offers at a special rate of $299. The regular service for the whole pricing is about $949 for the whole thing, but this is just for the listing part, just to get this access. The buyer later, if they want to upgrade and do their thing, they can be able to do that. You can also offer that later if you want to be able to. So this is here all about for the seller experience. So explaining to them, you can utilize this page as to why and how it works. All they have to do is purchase online. They go ahead and we're going to set up the record. So they'll call the toll-free number. We'll schedule the home visit. We'll organize all the property information documents into a clean historical record. And then the market, of course, you have your images, maybe from Argenx, right? And then you're able to list with confidence. So now you have a full system, right? Prepare that way. There's actually samples right here, right on the page, right? So you're going to be able to pull that up. We're going to document from the floors to the backsplash to the countertops to the bedrooms, right? Everything in detail, what this home comes with. If we did any repairs, if we replaced the roof, we're going to put the receipts, right? If we have any of the receipts, as much documentation as possible, we're going to put that. We're going to also document everything from the basement to the laundry to the plumbing to the water heaters so that they'll have all of that detail within. Right. And then this will be the certificate that they're going to be able to have in order at the open house. Right. So they'll get all of these things. OK, for $299. So less guesswork, more confidence. Right. Buyers are going to be asking fewer questions. They'll be submitting more offers confidently. And of course, less renegotiations. That's the goal, to kind of reduce the back and forth, because if you already know the issues about the home, we could already kind of put it, kind of label it. Right. and disclose as much information as possible so that you guys can get more offers when it comes to that. And this is pretty much the page here. And then the client will just go ahead and click get started, put the information here, agent's name, phone number, continue to payment. If the seller is paying, if you're paying for it, you can also fill this out and do the same thing, right? Either way. All right. Let me go back to that one page. Okay, and back to the client center page here. Also setting up the listing, right? If you have receipts and stuff that you want to submit, the information is right here, how you submit that to us. Okay, if you need contractors information, right? You need to be able to pretty much get like a scope done, right? A lot of times I get phone calls with, hey, you know what? I need a scope for a seller concession, right? Depending on what it is, it's going to be between 179 to 279. So this is right here. You go right in here, everything they're going to get, full documentation. If you need us to go through a full inspection report to get the full cost, you're looking at 279. Okay. So you click and pay, have them click and pay. We assign a contractor. You'll get a full on-site diagnosis, clear answers, and then being able to use whatever credit you need to submit to the lawyers to have that diagnosis done. So everything is pretty much done here. And I made that very simple for everyone to know where they get those scopes. Let me see, section 6. Again, it's just about explaining how you can use this during negotiation. Closing. So on the closing side, I know I'm covering a lot because I know our time is valuable, so I want to make sure I get everything. But this page is here for you guys to go through after, right? On the closing coordination side, and we're delivering the property care record. This will be handed off to the buyer. We're going to introduce the buyer to the system, right? And then if they want to continue, the buyer then could continue. They'll get a gift bag with the information. And also we have the script here, how to continue the property care, right? What they say, what you say at closing, it's all here, positioning the benefits, how to then get this started, what they need to schedule, how to call, etc. All that details there. For our lenders on the call, this is how you can position to your clients. You know, also along with your home financing, we're also providing access to the property care system through Quirk, right? So Quirk organizes your home, including maintenance, property details, key information into one place so you don't have to manage it on your own, right? Let me provide you that phone number to get started, and then you can book them a walkthrough, a complimentary call, and then we'll help them kind of organize everything from the inspection report to getting pricing to contractors. So this really positions you as the lender as someone who's taking the ongoing support, right? And it's also, here's another tip for lenders, it's a great touch point, right? Okay, so 30 days after closing, so how did it go? You know, are you using your property care system? 6-month check-in, you know, annual check-in. How's everything going? Were you able to get the repairs done? You know, how's everything going with the home, right? It's a great way to kind of have those conversations. So all of that here is in what I call the client center. And I like put this together for you guys to make sure everything is as best as possible. So, all right, I'm gonna stop talking, and I would love to, you know, make sure that I answer all questions. Any questions, please let me know. Exciting. All right, so
I don't have any questions, but I love it. I love how it's laid out. It's going to be something that I definitely want to work with you and see how it helps me through the work I have this season.
okay, and yes, absolutely. And I know, Shelly, you've been on a couple of these calls, but I want you to see now how it's, you know, we're progressing. It's always going to be speeding up and progressing. So as we're going through those phases, you guys also have access. I wanted to make everything clear because there is a few steps going on all at once. And simultaneously, we are working on the app. So the app is going to coincide later to kind of also speed things through, which I'm excited. It's going to, you know, take me a little bit. Hopefully in a couple of weeks, I can be able to launch the app side of it. But yeah, Ms. Perez said, the $299 is a consultation along with the docs, any repairs you help. Would that be another fee? So the $299 is to actually create the record, to sit with the seller, also to assist them with the full disclosure because we still need that information. Again, because, we are not like licensed realtors on the Quirk side, so we can sit and help them with the disclosure. And then if they need to do repairs, that's a separate scope. That would be an additional fee, would be $179 or $279, depending on if they wanted a licensed contractor that goes to a contractor who then will be hired to come to the listing and then go through everything and see what the cost is to fix different things. If we need to do that to prepare it, right? If maybe you need to do some paint or, some floors or walls, right? So you'll have access to that. And then, yeah, so.
What about buyers? This is really handy because I'm listening to your presentation, and this will be very useful when you do the inspection, right? And you get back the inspection report. But how do you deal with when, first time home buyers and then they see a report of 50 pages? Most of these things are cosmetics. How are you separating and how are you communicating to them clearly with clarity that they can't attack all these things, right? What are the things that you're going for? What are the things that we can fight for? uh your contractors obviously will sit with them and then they'll give them, okay, if you do this, if this needs to be done, then this will be this amount, things of that nature. But right, you understand what I'm asking?
I understand perfectly.
Right. Okay. So how would that work? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is when we're at the close, and I've already had a few scenarios utilizing this. So at the close, once we're introduced, and the buyer now will become a Quirk subscriber, which we're going to help them with those issues. How we do it is we're going to go through the full inspection report and price out the total of everything, of what all of everything is going to cost. However, what we do is if the buyer doesn't have all the funds to fix everything all at once, then we'll break it up in parts, right? So the most important things, like if there's leaks and stuff that's active water or anything of those type of issues, we want to handle those first. Like example, I have a client in Beverly, New Jersey, who I'm working with right now, and we went through the full inspection report. They had a total of, let's say, $30,000 worth of repairs. However, some things are cosmetic, some things are more important, that's actually dealing with the systems and with electrical, right? So you want to make sure we're doing the most things first that are either hazardous or anything active water. Those things to be handled first, and then the cosmetics, changing floors and paint, those are kind of last, right? So explaining to the new homeowner, kind of educating them from A to Z, like this is all the things you need to do with your home. However, we're going to break this up into parts and sections, from most important to then, of course, least, meaning like cosmetic and stuff that doesn't affect the actual system of the home. Does that make sense? Perfect. Yeah. So, I've seen that work really, really well. And I'm super excited to, have this system. And this is something, again, for all agents, for brokers on the call, for lenders on the call, that, as Quirk is growing and we're developing and we're testing and trying out things, and anything that you guys hear from the field, like, this would be good or that would be good. We're so open to hearing that feedback from you guys, because the goal is to build something so solid here, especially in Jersey, PA, New York, that, we're going to be taking the real estate full industry to another level, right? So, Derek is going to be proficient in getting the imagery and everything correct, right? It doesn't matter, how small the house is, we're going to have that thing looking amazing, right? Then I'm going to come in after that, after imagery and all of that, is to then document the smaller details of the home, right? And also, if we can be able to tell who the contractors are, if we need to be able to have contractor help and assistance, right? So now you guys get a full system, okay? And I have some more listing surprises coming too on these calls. So I'm very, very excited to be giving you guys the tools, resources, because again, it's not just about Quirk. What I want to be able to do is put together all the right listing tools that are forward thinking and are outside of the box, and say, hey, this is what the new tech agents are doing. This is how they're accelerating in the market. This is how they're getting the wow client. How do you get those multi-million-dollar clients? If you're coming in with these kind of tools, like, you're sure to get the listing, right? But if you're coming in like the last guy, with no drone and aerial imagery, and you've got a whole property care system and how that's implemented, the goal is to make you guys stand out as much as possible in this climate. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? We still have like 10 minutes.
And Nakai,
Mhm.
can I show the team like what the deliverable would look like
Yes.
that I would present to them?
Mm-hmm. 1 second.
It'll only take a second. And then, okay. So let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. So yeah, so this is how I would basically I would present this to you once everything is finished. And it's pretty much like a miniature website of your listing. And it'll have, all your photos, any video in there. If you wanted floor plans, that would be included too. And then it'll include, everything in terms of the house, the amenities and whatnot. And as well, and this is something that you will be able to market yourself. This is your site. So you would have your picture on there, license number and whatnot, company name if you want it, and the location of where the listing is. But just to give you an idea what it would look like. And then like for pricing, like you would have access to this right here. And like if you ever like have a property or a listing that you may need help with, you could literally just go in here, just type in the address, and then like if I just type in, I'm just doing something in Philadelphia, then if I just type in the square footage, and then that'll show up the pricing. That'll bring up all the pricing and all the add-ons, the value-added services. If you wanted one-offs, they're in here too. If you just needed aerial, if you just needed just photos, whatever it is, it's in there. And you can just click it and you can actually put the order in right from here. So,
Question. So, Mara's
Mhm.
asking, is it a website they're getting per order when it comes to the listing?
right. So yep, it would be a marketing. So this would be the marketing kit. So there's a basic kit and then there's a marketing kit. The marketing kit is more involved where yes, it gives you like a website. It also gives you like ready-made flyers that you could actually use to market your listings, as well as download on social media and market. So yeah, but you just have to let me know which option you would want, either the basic or the market kit.
Okay.
Where does the lead capture go?
You said the lead capture?
I saw, the inquiry spot. Where does that go? To someone's email? Can we plug it into a CRM, send a
Oh,
message?
you
Where
talking
does that
about right
go?
here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, so that would go to you.
Via email or into an API?
Yep, it would go via basically they would send a message, they would put their information in, and then it would be sent to your information. So what happens is you would be able to get a login. I would be able to set you up with a login,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you would be able to use for any of your clients. And they would be able to send information to you through this. So it would be linked to your email, whatever email that you use. Once somebody adds this information in, it would be sent to your email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome. And yep. So that's it. That's all I wanted to show in the car.
Okay, perfect.
It just so they know.
Yeah, so and again, I wanted to have Derek on here to also bring a different angle. And my goal is to make sure that the agents have the most up-to-date tools when it comes to showcasing your listings. Um, I feel like with all these tools, we can all do some amazing things here on this call. And the way to get started, of course, like I said, would be to just pretty much go to that website, right? Which will be right here, quirk.com/client-center. I will drop it in the chat for you guys. Make sure that you go ahead and just create your account. I'm going to I can also add Derek's part of it link in there. So that's part of another resource, you want to order imagery, you can just go right into this client center. It's going to have everything for that. If you guys are lost or anything, please let me know. I'm here to assist. And yeah, so who's ready to quirk it? Who's ready to quirk it and get these offer listings ready, right? We're so excited about everything that we're doing here at Quirk. So thank you again. Any questions before we close out?
I think you covered a lot for me, so thank you for sending me the reminder to come in.
Yes. And you guys, thank you so much, Stacey. And thank you, everyone. Tasha, I'll definitely give you guys a call after to make sure that you guys, I'm gonna put in the chat the website. So you can go right on there, quirk.com/client-center. For either the next week or the following week, I am working to get there's another tool that I think is going to blow your mind. So, I'm on the hunt for all the best tools because I see the big picture, right? It's not, I'm doing something, yes. Derek's doing one part of it, but there's so many of us doing really great things that's just going to amplify the whole real estate industry. So I'm so excited, for us to take everything when it comes to listings, when it comes to, helping buyers, helping sellers to a next level. Those are the agents that I definitely want to work with. And, as a tech software creator, this is what I do. So, feel free to text me, book a one-on-one call. Let's get started. You have some listings coming up. Go on the link. You can go ahead and pre-purchase $299 and say, hey, okay, this is going for the next listing. Let's try it out. You can call Derek. Let's get some drone imagery going. And let's just really amp this up to another level because I want to showcase you guys. So that's why I'm giving you this special price to kind of get y'all started. All right. You'll see that the value is way surpassed the small $299. It's really worth the bigger number. So yeah. So thank you again, everyone, for attending. And check out for the next listing room because we're going to have another featured amazing speaker. And we're going to do this, guys. I'm so excited.